I hope I'm repeating. Thanks, Paul, for bugging me. Print Club event this Saturday, no extra credit. There's 1 or 2 papers to give back. I'll try to get that in a minute. Are there any questions about extra credit number 4, which is due this Friday? Go sit down, Ron. Are there any questions about extra credit number 4, which is due this Friday? The book drive continues with no books. The boat trip apparently has a lot less openings than I thought, but we still have a few. Make sure you talk to Dan Williams if you want to go. It's going to be off the hook. Anybody have anything to talk to me about with aquariums? Math problems today. I hope you have questions to ask me. I don't have a math lesson for you. The business office accidentally purchased 5 extra environmental science tests. So if somebody didn't buy one in the first round and all of a sudden now decides, like, wait, I want to try this after all, you actually can for $95, which is the introductory cheap price.
What about if I reduce lunch, will it be 20? Pretty sure.
Bro, I don't know, but probably. Is that your situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should talk to Hazel Anderson right away. Like, I don't even know if they're still available, but yesterday they were.
All right.
So, we're ready to have a class now. You have a choice. Your world assignment stuff, presidential elections. We could do presidential, followed by board, followed by committee assignments. Or we could spend the day doing math and do all that other stuff later. Or we could do a little math and a little of that.
Let's do elections.
Yeah, can we just do
What? If we do the project, it won't help you for the test. So math, yeah, so one argument is math will at least help some of you for the test. And that's a valuable argument. I just don't know how many people actually want help with the math. I'm here for you.
The test isn't worth that much, right?
What?
The test isn't worth that much versus the final project.
the AP test?
We're talking about the AP test next Monday. And the final may have math on it. I haven't ruled that out.
Rule of 72.
So
How many presidential elections?
there are 3 proposals on the table. Please look up. 1, do all the election stuff and assignments and committees. 2, presidential elections only, then math. 3, math now, then we see what happens afterward. How many people want to do all the election stuff now? How many people want to do presidential elections first, then math? How many people want to just start with the math and then move on? So, for the president, I can give you a bunch of cautionary advice. I'm guessing you've already read the packet about what the president has to do. Remember that the president, like the committee directors, like the committee chairs, should not be doing work herself or himself. Their job is to just dial in everybody's effort. Which means they should not be very distracted. If they have a lot of activities where they're not available, they can't really supervise. You kind of want to elect a loser in the private life sense. In the private life sense.
All right, Hugo.
And I don't mean like a loser, like I'm judging you negatively. I mean like somebody who doesn't have 2 children at home and a part-time job and then another job and then athletics and then No, seriously, if this person travels every weekend, that's really a bummer. If there's somebody you can reach on a cell phone 24/7, that's kind of a really good qualification. So if you know somebody who has like spectacular cell phone etiquette,
It's always on its phone.
I mean, I kind of hate that, but that's true. Separately,
Just know that that's an option.
separately, you want somebody who's going to be like centered and focused and like moving forward and not like a stress case and like not going to snap under the pressure. Like, just so you know, in every project, a lot of stuff goes wrong. So if this person is like emotionally or stability fragile, bad choice. Bad choice. Like if somebody's going to get frazzled and lose their cool, horrible choice. We want people who can like talk to grown-ups, get bad news, turn around, move on, talk to other people, keep their stuff organized. This person has to keep track of 30 people every single day. Like, what's Hope's problem today? Marlon came up early, so he can do that thing instead. You know, Kits has got that thing going on, but Bobro's chilling. Like, who knows? Like, it's a really complex set of skills. This is management. And this person will decide your second semester grade more than anyone, including yourself. We don't care about their academics because this is not an academic nerdiness assignment. This is like a personal skill set. Management is totally different. It's totally different. You notice that I never do anything, but I have like 50,000 volunteers, TAs, parents, people I'm asking favors or trying to give favors to. Like, this is management.
Or slavery.
These are willing slaves. Big difference. No. They can leave at any time. Stockholm syndrome. That's a good joke, right? You do love me.
Sure.
Yeah. Right where I wanted it. Okay. Anybody want to ask me anything else? Yeah.
Can we like have the people who want to be president like say why we should choose them? Because it's like really hard. It's like really hard to choose just from that.
A short campaign.
I mean, if you don't know them at this point, I'm not sure that this speech thing is going to help. Like, what? First of all, who are our choices? Mel, Hugo. Is that it?
I'll do it. I guess.
Val? You're in a bad state? About this or about life?
No, about something else. It's separate.
Just stress out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people stress out. It's okay. Like, people have crap. Like, I would say this is a good test. Like, can you deal with that and do this? Because, like, that. If you can't do the election part, you should probably bow out.
What is
Right now.
It seems to me like you're still functioning. So, what?
I don't really do anything ever, so I'll take this character.
Okay. Took the loser thing to heart.
Struck what you close to home. Panic. You don't get it. Why is Mel holding his last name?
What you have to ask yourself is like, oh, another one. Some people are looking for excuses to shrink the project. The deadliest thing to a project is laziness. Like, that's good enough. Like, you want somebody who's going to accept no excuses, who's going to like make it bigger every time. Like, oh, we've got this problem. Oh, well then we'll do this so that we can go even bigger. Like, people who lowball your project, that'll kill you. Like, you guys have noticed that, like, when things get tough, some people, like, just grind their teeth more and fight harder, and so they'll be like, oh, never mind, I'm gonna go on Xbox. Like, seriously, that's a key thing here. Like, you want people that are, like, gritty. add anybody, subtract anybody, anyone want to bow out, suggest something, say something about another person, you want to throw some mud, this would be the time. Really. Ability to talk to grown-ups, keep track of a bunch of people, cell phone etiquette, available. Like you can reach them at 11, you can reach them at midnight, you can reach them at 4 in the morning. Nobody has anything to say. You just want to vote?
We're not doing some options.
You can do a speech if you want.
Speech.
Yeah, speech.
How many people want a speech?
Sure.
I have to admit, I'm so surprised by that. All right.
Start with Mal.
Mal, speak.
The only reason I really want to be president, I wasn't like super into that, except I really like this area of what we're doing, and I've been in it for a while. Like I got a job at like a farm in Summerlin a few summers back, and my dad's super connected, and I know like the owners of a lot of local farms, and I'm just into the whole food movement thing, and I actually want to like do this going forward. So I just like the idea a lot, and I think I have a lot of valuable resources I can bring.
Hugo?
Well, I have good management skills. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but I was like in Naval Sea Cadets for like 2 years. So I have good chain of command. Like, I saw it in the packet. That's a really big thing. And, like, I don't get why everyone's like stressing out about it. Like, we can still use like James resources. Like, like we'll still work together. So it's not, it's more about management skills so much, I think. But
I agree with that. What else? Welch?
Like everything you just said about what a president should do, like I actually do that. I didn't really read the packet, but when you said it, it's like, oh wait, I have all of those. So I guess I could be a good president, and as Mel was saying, he has the resources. So I probably like have him as an assistant or something.
Well, he'll be a part of it.
I don't see why that's condescending in any way.
He'll be condescending, but every person here still has to be a part of the project. So, like, if Hugo had resources, he could be president. We'd still need those resources, or he could be something else, and we'd still. And at any level, everybody's resources is still critical in the group. So I understand your point. No, it's not condescending. I get what you're saying. Kind of Hugo said the same thing. What else?
Yeah, and yeah, just I filled the role weirdly.
What?
Excellent.
I filled the role.
Perfect. That was Welch. Fel.
I really wanted to be president of this project because I really like this class. I'm very passionate about the material, and everything that you just said is like the state that I am in right now because I just like have a bunch of stuff. I just like won this competition for a business plan thing, and I have to speak in front of a million people, so that's why I'm like freaking out right now. But that will be over by this weekend, so after AP test, like all my schedule is free, and I really want to put all my effort and time into this because I think we're going to have a lot more time after AP tests and not much else going on. So I'd like to use, I have like good communication skills with everyone, very in technology. I can like spread the word about things, and I really would be enthusiastic about this project.
I think you've got 4 perfectly good choices. I think in any capacity, you got to realize these are all going to be parts of your team anyway. If you've read the packet, remember that there are also committee chair positions. So some of your students that are on this list are going to be back when we look at the committee chairs. And so who's most uniquely presidential? These same outstanding students would probably be good choices for the chair of marketing, and the chair of outreach, and the chair of research, and the chair of production. So really what you have to focus on is who has that like special thing we want this person to be in charge of our project? Keeping track of everybody, focusing on the mission, so to speak, trying to make this project bigger and bigger at every opportunity, dealing with the adversity, refocusing people, going to be available to like help other people solve the problems. Anybody have any questions for me? We'll do a heads up 7-up. This is anonymous. Nobody will see any of the votes. You have to have your head all the way down on your elbow on the table. If you're hurt, I'll find you a different chair. Heads all the way on, elbows all the way down the table. By the way, does anybody know if Maria Vargas wanted to be president? She's not here today. She did not. Okay.
Are we allowed to vote?
Yeah, everybody's allowed to vote. You can vote for yourself or for somebody else if you're a president. Everybody must vote once and can only vote once. I'll go over your 4 choices first. Remember that they will be Mel, Hugo, Welch, Fell. Choose one of those 4 now. Make sure you have it in your head which one you're going to raise your hand for. And then when I say to raise your hands really high when it's that time of day. Mel, James Mel. Hugo Isaias. Mackenzie Fell. Welch Thorpe. Okay, you can look up. Mackenzie Fell won by, I think we'd call it a pretty solid lead. Welch got on the board. Hugo and James were tied with a fairly respectable showing for each. But Fell got right around half the class vote, so given all the options, I think that's an obvious choice. Next, we're going to have to choose our committee chairs and our committee assignments. I'm available to help you do that now if you'd like, or I'm available to do math now if you would like. I need to go vote math. I need to vote committee assignments. So you have to give me math problems and then I'll do them. I will not be using a calculator because you can't use a calculator on Monday. Questions?
Do a rule of 72 problem?
Rule 70 problem?
70? That's what I meant. See, that's why I need to know. I did call.
That's what you couldn't do. You had the wrong number for it.
Oh, no,
Oh, kind of. It's not a straight line, so depends on the values. Waiting for a problem.
Population doubles every 5 years. What is the rule of 70?
Okay, those are 2 unrelated problems. If the population doubles every 5 years, then that's a fact. Separately, the rule of 70 is 70 divided by growth rate is doubling time.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you should be reading on a document. If 500,000 BTUs of energy are available to raise the temperature of a water boiler from 20 degrees Fahrenheit to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, how many gallons of water can be added to the boiler?
Oh, what question is that?
Number 20.
On what? What's that?
In the main reviews packet. First of all, I should warn you, this is a type of math problem that relies on a certain principle of units that I think a lot of my students don't know. Second of all, oh crap. Sorry. Today's Wednesday. is guaranteed. Every year, one of the 4 essays is a math question. Okay, this relies on, like, this is super easy, except it's a type of unit that people find confusing. It's a multi-unit unit. And so I can break this down for you as easily as possible. I know how to solve this, but I think a lot of my students will be kind of frustrated with me. Watch. By the way, the information they gave me was 500,000 BTUs is the energy we're given. 20 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature change. And we want to answer in gallons, right? Is that all the information that they gave us?
Yeah.
Okay. Additionally, there's another fact embedded uphill from there. There's a conversion of gallons to pounds somewhere. You don't have to know that. They gave it to you. It's a given in the question. You can look up a couple. It says the density of water is 1 gram per milliliter, or approximately 8 pounds per gallon. They gave us that conversion, right?
Yeah.
And then they also said 1 BTU is the energy, so we know this is a measure of energy, and that's fine, required to take 1 pound water by 1 degree Fahrenheit temperature change. Agreed? Yeah? So we know that we've got 500,000 BTUs. And we know that we're trying to make a difference of 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Do I need to work that out? 20 to 100 is 80. You can see the change in temperature is 80. Yeah? But we're solving for how many pounds of water. And then at some point, we're going to have to convert that to gallons to give them what they originally asked us in the setup. Agreed so far?
Yes.
Yeah? So if I divide by 80, BTU divided by Fahrenheit will leave behind the H2O, so that's all good. What's 500? That's 50,000 divided by 8.
6,200.
250? 6,250. I did it in my head in the time it took you to use your calculator. I'll bet you could have done it on paper almost as fast. That's pounds of water. Agreed so far? So that's how much water. We've already answered how much water. Okay? Because they gave us the BTUs, they gave us the temperature change, and you know that these variables, this is the part that they probably won't ask you, is when a unit is a unit by a unit. But just in case. Pound, and then we have to go to gallons. Because you know that the answer that they asked you was in gallons, right? So we're going to want pounds of H2O to cross out and leave behind only gallons. We know that 1 gallon is 8 pounds. So 6250 divided by 8 is your answer. And 6250 divided by 8 is 7.96, right? 796 gallons? Something like that? Anybody got a calculator? You could work that out, right? You guys know how to do long division? 781. Right. Okay. Anybody else? Other problem? Questions about this one? I'm here to help you.
I went from the
I'm ready. Just ask. Or Ryan's ready. Go ahead, Ryan.
2014, number 2.
That's nice. Go ahead.
Okay, well, there's like a table and everything.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So it says calculate the volume in liters meters cube that runs off the shops at Fremont parking lot after a 5 centimeter rainfall event. Assume that all the water that falls on the parking lot runs off.
Okay, what's the area of the parking lot?
200 meters by 100 meters. Oh wait. Oh, it also says 10 kilometers.
The area of the parking lot is 2 different areas?
Just kidding, just kidding. No, it's that what I said.
That?
Yeah. Pretty sure. But that says.
That's all we need?
There's the area of the shopping center and the area of the house.
Do we need the area of town for something? We're just asking about the parking lot, right?
Yeah.
Is it how much rainfall runoff from the parking lot? That's what they're asking, right? Runoff from the parking lot?
Yeah.
And the parking lot is 200 by 100?
Yeah.
Watch this, everybody. 200 meters times 100 meters is 20,000 meters squared. Do we agree with that so far? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Next, what's the conversion of centimeters to meters? 100, right? So if you have 5 pennies, how many is that in dollars?
0.05.
$0.05, right? So if you got 5 centimeters, how many meters is that?
0.05.
0.05 meters. So that's going to be
It equals 1,000.
like that. You could also do this in scientific notation. That's probably easier. No, I must have blown it somewhere. Where's this from? What's 1,000?
No, that's 1,000.
Now this would give us meters cubed, and that's good. Was this not 2,000? 100 times 10 to the 4. 10 to the 4. 10 to the -2. That can't be right.
The answer for that one is 100,000. No, yeah, the second one. It's 100,000.
Wait.
That's 1,000, and then this is 100,000.
What's 20,000 times 0.05?
It's 1,000.
It's 1,000?
Answer's 1,000.
No. There's,
No, I think that's right though, because 2 times 5. Wait. 10. And then.
oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Because that's 10 times 10 to the 2, which is 1 times 10 to the 3, which is that. Perfect. Okay. What else? Yeah.
Well, like the next part of that question
Uh-huh.
is calculate the volume of storm runoff. Oh wait, just kidding.
The next one. Calculate. So everybody can look at the paper. Which one are we talking about?
From 2014.
2014. Okay.
Yeah, so we just so then calculate the volume of storm runoff generated in all Fremont by the 5 centimeter rainfall event.
Okay, so we would need the area of Fremont times the amount of rain. Agreed?
Yeah.
What's the area of Fremont?
10 kilometers squared.
10 kilometers squared. And the rain is 5 centimeters? Yeah. Is this the one that said that there's a certain percentage which is impermeable?
Yeah.
And it's 20% impermeable? Okay.
Wait, how?
What?
Oh, I get it.
Do you? Okay. There's a thing that I think is going to mess with your brain a whole lot. We must do this in scientific notation, for starters. And if we can just get this whole in scientific notation, it's a single answer. But I need everybody to look at something. Are those squares roughly, as far as you can tell, equal?
Yeah.
Okay. If this is 1,000 meters, how would that side be measured in kilometers?
1 meter.
Do we agree with that? Yes?
Yes.
So watch this. This is the part where minds are going to be blown. Are those still equal squares?
Yes.
Right? Because 1,000. Yeah. Right? So how do you measure those areas? You multiply sides, right?
Yeah.
What's 1 kilometer times 1 kilometer?
1 kilometer squared.
What's 1,000 meters times 1,000 meters? 1,000,000 meters squared. Everybody got that? So we have to write this in meters because we know we're going to be answering in meters. Agreed? Yes or no? So I'm going to do everything in meters. 10 kilometers squared is 10 million meters squared, which is 1 times 10 to the how many zeros?
7.
Meters squared. That's the area of Fremont. Right?
Yeah.
Next, how do I write 5 centimeters in meters? 0.05, right? And what is that decimal? Hey, was that scientific notation?
5 times 10 to the negative 2.
-1, 2. That's the amount of rain. Everybody agree with me so far? Now, how do I write 20% as a decimal to do this multiplication? And what is 0.2 in scientific notation?
2 times 10 to the negative 1.
Now, because I've got meters, I know we're going to solve it here to get meters cubed.
Wait, is there another question? This is probably really stupid, but this problem, what does impermeable mean?
Impermeable means it's not permeable. It cannot be permeated. And it also says somewhere in the question, if I remember correctly, what permeability means. You just missed it. Permeability is stuff that water can go into. Impermeable surfaces like asphalt or concrete, that water runs off and makes runoff. Yeah, like clay, sand lab, permeability, water. Okay. So now, watch this, please. 1 times 5 is 5, times 2 is 10. 7 minus 2 is 5, minus 1 is 4. Right? But that's not how you write scientific notation. That's 1 times 10 to the 5th meters cubed. Take that face, Ryan. Go ahead. I can take it.
What?
More math questions? Ryan, was that the end of that one, or was there more?
There's more, but I dropped it last time.
You got the last one? Yeah.
This one says a large coal-fired electric car produces 12 million kilowatt hours of electricity each day. Assume that an input of 10,000 BTUs of heat is required to produce an output of 1 kilowatt hour of electricity. And then the question is, determine the number of BTUs of heat needed to generate the electricity produced by the power plant each day.
So it's a conversion of BTUs to kilowatts, right? So let me First of all, what year and what number?
This is 1999. No, 2000. 2001.
So everybody can check that. Well, I'm getting the 3 facts out of Gabby. What were the 3 facts?
Electric or coal-fired electric power plant produces 12 million kilowatt hours of electricity.
Could you say that more slowly? How many?
12 million kilowatt hours of electricity each day.
12 million
Kilowatt hours.
per day. Right?
Yeah.
12 million. So I'm going to make that into 1.2 times 10 to the 7 because I like that. Then what?
And then assume that an input of 10,000 BTUs of heat is required.
10,000
BTUs of heat
to do what?
is required to produce an output of 1 kilowatt hour of electricity.
Like that. And so what's the question now?
Determining the number of BTUs of heat needed to generate the electricity produced by the power plant.
So we need to solve for BTUs for the power plant?
Yeah.
That's it already. Kilowatt hours will cancel out. So I'm just going to rewrite that as scientific notation, okay? Okay? Scientific notation? Okay. Kilowatts cancel out. BTU per day is what we're talking about. And 1.2 times 10 times 1 times 10 to the 4 is 1.2 times 10 to the 11 BTUs per day.
And then there's the second part.
Uh-huh.
It says pounds of coal consumed by the power plant each day, assuming that 1 pound of coal yields 5,000 BTUs of heat.
Oh, great. Okay. And then give me again how many BTUs coal? What?
That 1 pound of coal yields 5,000 BTUs.
5,000 BTUs?
Yes.
And they're asking about coal per day?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these were all given to you in the order, that's like about as convenient as you're ever going to get it. So working out 1.2 divided by 5 is potentially slightly tricky for a few minutes, but I think you would get it. So we know that our units are 1.2 divided by 5. 1.2 divided by 5 is 0.24. Is that right? So 0.24 times 10 to the 11 minus 4 is 7, which is 2.4 times 10 to the 6.
And then the third part.
Third part?
It says determine.
Pounds coal, right?
Yeah.
Do they want it in tons or do they want it in pounds?
Pounds. And then the third one says determine the number of pounds of sulfur released by the power plant each day.
One more conversion. So what's the pound of coal, pound of coal?
Well, it never said anything about sulfur.
Yeah,
No, it has to be something.
Does it really?
It says 1%.
Wait. Oh, okay.
And then what percentage of sulfur units of coal?
1%.
1%. Per pound of coal. 2.4 times 10 to the 4. So 2.4 times 1 is 2.4. 10 to the 6, 10 to the 4. Pounds of coal, so sulfur per day. Right? Did anybody else, am I doing this wrong? Am I just doing this for Gabby? I hope everybody understands this is all I got. I don't know how to teach math. I'm just like doing it. What else?
Jose, I found this really confusing problem.
Good for you, buddy.
It's like asking for the total carbon dioxide. Just analyze this graph.
So far, I can't help you.
You should just have a look at it here.
Kieran, which one is it?
The function above is represented by the expression y equals 2x sine x plus 315. What is the correct integral expression that determines the total carbon emission?
Shell method was?
When rotated around using the shell method? Wait, this is apes?
That's calculus. Yeah, that was 2003. That was on your website.
That's calculus.
It was really confusing, yeah. It was like, is that going to be on the test?
There is no way that would be on the test.
It's a calculus problem.
That's actually done like calculus.
Are you happy with me?
Yeah.
What else? This is how Kieran entertains himself.
Look at the options I put. A, Jose for totalitarian dictator. B, Hugo for president. C, shell method. D, ecosystem services. And E, all of the above.
Never president. Totalitarian dictator.
I've photoshopped this problem.
This is what Kieran does in his spare time, everybody. How to be a genius.
You bought it too, yeah, because it was 10 seconds.
Plus, it's not, that's nonsense in calculus, right? This is an integral function.
No, you could do that in calc.
Really? What else? Still waiting. No more math? When I retired this marker, I'm done with this marker.
In the second one that we just did for Gabby, I'm not sure what she did with the coal. Like, where'd you get like the conversion of
She told me.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I can do it again if you want.
Come up with the
They either, okay, listen very carefully. You must know units of time. Seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, year. Century, millennium, so on. Decade. You must know units of time, no exceptions. And you must know the basic metric system. Centimeter, meter, kilometer, millimeter. Millimeter, centimeter, meter, kilometer. You must know milliliter, liter. And you must know milligram, gram, kilogram. That's all. Milligram, gram, kilogram, milliliter, liter, millimeter, centimeter, meter, kilometer, mm, cm, m, km, and then the units of time. That's all. Everything else they'll give you. It really does help to know scientific notation like you saw me doing up here. What else?
kilometer.
What comes after kilometer? Is that it?
Yeah. Millimeter, centimeter, meter, kilometer.
Oh, never mind.
After like getting bigger? What else?
That's it.
I am available to answer questions. Should we do the elections for the board of directors?
We have 3 minutes.
Impeach found.
13. No, 14.
We do have 13 or 14 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, what are the positions?
I am hoping that everybody knows what all the positions do. Marketing, outreach, research, and production. If you don't know, that's really unfortunate, but we are going to vote today. Probably. First of all, someone is going to have to write this down. Second of all, marketing comes first. Marketing is the overall vision, like what this project is going to end up doing. You want somebody who's like really like mature and ambitious, but realistic. Like honestly, somebody who has work experience is really helpful, that like works with grown-ups, and like marketing is like the one that makes all the decisions. Yeah. So your marketing committee chair, first of all, has to be a manager. We've talked about management skills. And second of all, they've got to be like really thoughtful and realistic. If they have administrative experience, like working in like groups of students or groups of teachers, or like, that's going to be really helpful. Remember that marketing will guide your project. They'll be the ones that make the ultimate plan. Like, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do this. They're going to organize it all into phases. Who'd like to be marketing chair or recommend someone? Sarah? You are volunteering, or you want to recommend?
I'm volunteering.
Okay. Who else?
Volunteer, Jenkins.
Who else? Yeah.
I like Bodie.
Who else? That's it? 3 choices? Sarah, James, Bodie. Anybody want to bow out? Students in the audience, do we want to discuss these candidates?
Yeah.
Discuss. Who's got something to say? Yeah.
Okay, well, I currently have 3 jobs, like all in marketing, and so I work with grown-ups all the time with like setting up plans to do things and like setting up a business plan for it and like getting it out. So that's why I think I'm probably the best.
Who else? James?
I work with my dad and he's like a lot of farms, so that's kind of along those lines. Like I work with a lot of adults and the time frame, and I also have a job, like a regular job. So I work alongside adults all the time.
Okay.
He has real world experience with this particular topic.
Got it. Excellent. What else? Anybody want to say yes or no for somebody or not the other one or something?
I'd like to, because I don't really want to run.
I was worried that was a prank. Okay. Heads down. You only have 2 choices, Sarah, James. Everybody must vote. You may only vote once. Well, I was just waiting for Marlon to finish his text message. Okay, Marlon just finished. How nice of you, Marlon. Now, you only have 2 choices. Sarah, James. Raise your hand to vote for Sarah. And James. Okay, you can look up. Sarah won. It was a very strong showing by James. I think they both would have been great choices, but Sarah took it. Somebody write down that Sarah's in charge of marketing.
Jose,
Yeah.
does outreach, is that like public speaking? Or say like the voice project?
Next. All Should I keep waiting? All committee chairs are responsible for public speaking. All committee chairs have to communicate with people outside of the school and outside of their groups and with each other. Outreach, though, is the one that plans the school visits, the off-site stuff. It really helps if the outreach person either has education and experience in education, knows teachers, is really into teaching. Because basically what you're trying to do is break down your topic in a way that we can present it to different audiences. So how to make, like what's the important content to go in the flyer? How to make this class appropriate? Again, administrative skills. All the directors have to have that management, cell phone ability, that kind of stuff. But specifically here, outreach is especially interested in how to communicate this to a variety of audiences. Yeah?
When the presentations come, what do they talk about? Just like how they reached out?
Yeah, we'll talk about the presentations when we get there, but all the directors have to be a part of the presentation, right?
The outreach, like, it's during the school day, right? Like, it wouldn't be as much as, like, after.
The lessons to younger populations are normally during the school day. We'll have to liberate people to go to those trips, usually for 2 to 3 periods per presentation.
Yeah.
Other types of outreach are as guided by your class project.
Okay.
So you might do on-campus stuff during the school day, at lunch, after school, out of the school day, athletic events, and community during any of those choices, whatever your class says best. Yeah. Sarah, question?
Wait, so I'm just clarifying something. So each, like, the committee, like chair of the committee, is also a board of director, right? For that committee. So she's
Good thing you read the packet.
You're in charge of the full marketing.
She's chair of marketing.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to take back the vote?
Wait, you were
Okay, if we didn't know what we were running for, that's not a good start.
We were like, wait, she was for marketing?
Now, outreach. Who wants to run for outreach or recommend somebody for outreach? Yeah? Ryan Hughes. Who else for outreach? Violet Betters. Who else? James Mel. Who else? Excuse me. Still waiting. Remember that outreach is the one who will communicate your project to a variety of people who can explain the problem, who can explain the solution, who can say like, oh, we couldn't do this, and we did this, and we thought this, and you're going to kind of be like justifying stuff and putting a good face on it. Of course, all the chairs have to communicate with the public, adults, with each other, with management communication skills. Do we have any other choices beyond Ryan, Violet, and James?
I want to do research more.
Cross you out. So our 2 choices, anybody want to say anything about these candidates? Candidates you want to speak? Yes or no? Raise your hand if you have something to say. Yeah.
I'll just say my mom, she's been working with elementary schools a lot lately, so she goes in and like helps them with like tutoring and like working with the teachers and stuff. So it's like
Okay. Well,
I feel comfortable with public speaking, especially to younger kids, and I have some experience with like childcare and things, so I know how to communicate with children, as well as, I think I feel comfortable in a position such as this, and I feel comfortable speaking to adult people.
cool. 2 excellent choices. Remember, either one will also be useful as an individual, so which one do you want to lead? Heads down. You only have 2 choices for this, Ryan Hughes and Violet Betters. Raise your hand to vote for Ryan Hughes. And for Violet Betters. Hands down, please, and you can look up. Ryan Hughes took that one. Violet got a good number of votes too. But Ryan definitely nailed it. Ryan? I hope somebody's writing all this down.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about research.
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
Do people on the board of directors get a grade boost?
Yeah, they do. They get a 5% grade boost. Okay, now me. By the way, if they're bad at it, usually we script them with that, so you know. The tricky thing about research is it's a blend. Research makes sure that what you're saying is accurate. So they got to do a lot of searching for information, but then they got to make sure that we say it correctly, a good bit of like writing and English skills, like rhetorically speaking. And also kind of a bit of like skepticism and knowing your sources, especially when we talk about food. Like, we're going to really need to be very picky about our research. This is a really touchy subject. If we're just like skimming the Google machine, McDonald's will be like the most sustainable fast food in the world. And it's like, oh, who else is sustainable? Like, wait a minute. What are we really saying here? This is kind of a nitty-gritty, sticky, like, intellectually rigorous job. Of course, management, and don't forget, this takes editing skills. This is also about writing.
We have 2 minutes just letting you know.
What?
We have like 1 minute just letting you know.
Thanks for letting me know. Who are our choices for this? James Mel, Marlon Godless, Kay Hook, and Bodie Cruft. Anybody want to say anything about these 4 candidates? Add a candidate, remove a candidate now. Heads down so we can vote. You've got 4 choices: James, Marlon, Kieran, Bodie. Choose one. Everybody has to vote for one, only one. Raise your hand to vote for James. To vote for Marlon. Now to vote for Kieran. Now to vote for Bodie. Hands down. Bodie and Marlon definitely got votes, but James and Kieran were only separated by 1, and Kieran took it. Yes. Finally, the last one we have is production. We'll have to choose that some other time. Don't forget the final is tomorrow.